All right, we have hit the go live. Quick request for anybody out there. Tell me how our audio's doing.
Go to warhammerflowers.
Shut the fuck up, flowers.com through YouTube ads. Tell me how the mic's doing. I have a different mic setup than a month ago. This is my first time trying the mic out in its different setup while I'm at a standing desk. The mic is no longer attached to my desk, so when I went to standing, it doesn't rise with me, so I had to adjust it a little bit. So people let me know if I sound weird or quiet or something. We'll deal with that. All right, YouTube. Not a good placement of your dumbass ad. Look at this shit. Look at this. This is all this holiday gift nonsense up here, pushing my chat all the way down here. So that's I can't look at the quality of the thing. All right, YouTube. Not a good placement of your... Okay. Yeah, we sound okay. Maybe a little quiet, but it's all right. Shit happens. Shit happens. We'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Either I just don't do standing desk stuff in the future, or I reconsider the new mic position. Thought he was from Wales? I'm not from Wales. From Minnesota. It's very windy here. Where did all the wind come from? Dude, it's also super windy here. It's messed up. The actual temperature outside is like 23, but the weather app I have says it feels like -5 with the wind, and I agree. It's so cold. You might be wondering why I'm stalling. Do have an event today. But, like with every other event in this series, it is a nice and short stream. We have 5 replays to go through, and they are all already played. Because organizing live events with players across different time zones, especially as far away as East NA and Spain, can be rather difficult. So for ease of access for everybody around Christmas time, we just do replays. But that does mean also it's going to be a nice streamlined stream, and I don't want people to miss out. So a little channel announcement while we continue to let people gather. I made this announcement in my Discord, but for some of you that aren't there, 2024 is going to be an exciting year. I was talking to some avid players in the community, getting their thoughts, and also some of my mod team. And we came to the decision that, well, I knew I wanted to run a big event in 2024. It's been too long since we had one, and the game's in a pretty solid state right now, gameplay-wise, so we're getting pretty excited about that. Asked my mod team if we should wait until after or before the Thrones of Decay. It was voted for after. So there'll be some form of really big event there, like, you know, the Warhammer World Cup team did that thing 3 years ago at this point. Warhammer 2, the land battle one. It could be something similar to that, just like, you know, we're just going to do a big fucking tournament, you guys, and that's about all it is. Or I'm still discussing with my mod team and stuff if we're going to do this Nations event we're running right now, but instead of an invitational where I just got 8 people together that I knew and I said, hey, make a team of some people from your region, let's just do this. More of a anyone can sign up and represent your region and having qualifiers and like more official World Cup, what nation is the best in the whole world, etc., etc. So there'll be something like that after Thrones of Decay. But since it's after Thrones of Decay, that's in April. That shit's in April. We got to fill January, February, March. Well, the Vermin League playoffs were delayed because the state of the game was not good post Shadows of Change. Not a lot of people playing, and the balance was just really, really bad. So I delayed my playoffs. Those will be in February. So February through March will be covered by playoffs. And then in January, we'll host the Winter Faction War with Kairos banned. I wonder if Zinch will win again or if someone else will take the throne. So we'll see. But yeah, so January Faction War. February and bleeding into March, Vermin League playoffs. And then probably in the May area, because we'll let Thrones of Decay launch and we'll see what's wrong with it before we start a big tournament. Probably in the May area, we'll launch a big, super humongous, giant event that should run probably a little bit through the summer, you know, probably end of July. But it is going to be tricky. I get married in June. So I won't want the finals to land anywhere near my wedding or I won't be able to stream them, and that would suck AF. All right. So there's that update. We are at 1 o'clock, so the stalling has been enough. It started early? Nah, dude. I'm just stalling because I got to hit live so people can start gathering around the YouTube thing so they don't miss it. So it's 1 o'clock. It's time to actually start this shit. What are we doing today? It is the finals, ladies and gentlemen. The finals of our Nation Invitational. We had 8 teams at the start. West NA, South America, East NA, UK, Spain, France, Italy, and the EU Mercenaries. My personal favorites were going to be France, number 1. And then Spain and the EU Mercenaries were kind of my second favorite. But I wasn't sure who was going to really come out on top. Well, Spain beat France, and Italy upset the EU Mercenaries, so already that put me at thinking Spain was going to win the whole tournament from that point. And they did defeat Italy, but East NA has been doing a strong showing on the top bracket. We'll see if they can hold back the... I don't want to say tournament favorite, because that discredits France. I was wrong about that. I predicted France. Spain upset them. Great, good for you, Spain. But the now tournament favorite, Spain, probably a favorite coming into this, but... I don't know. The East NA squad is pretty spooky. Which will pull up the Photoshop so you can see that again. Boom! These are the 5 matchups today. Now, if you have not caught a single stream up until this point, you just joined for the finals. All right, bro. The quick rundown of the format is all 5 games are played no matter what. Even if it starts off at 3-0, we play the 4th and 5th games. Because I would hate to tell someone, hey, man, can you join the team for, let's say, Italy? Hey, can you fight for Italy, fight for your national pride? You're the 5th game in the set. Great, that sounds awesome. Anyway, if your teammates lose before it even gets to you, you don't get a chance to show Italy what you got. You don't get a chance to represent your nation. Fuck you. That sounds stupid. So all 5 games were played, no matter what. We have the green one, Tudela, Azrael, JMG, and Orion repping Spain. On the other side, Blood Penguin, Golden Floof, Rocket Bro, Rainy Frog, and AC Maiden for the East NA crew. Got some delicious caffeinated tea. Try to keep my energy up. And that is about it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just get into it. Enough fucking around, enough faffing about. Who's my first game? Blood Penguin and the green one. Great, great. You're gonna stream your wedding? No. Spain is the favorite. Country was just not a word for toes or toes. Yeah, they're good. They're good at Warhammer, man. First game is a Blood Penguin mirror match because he plays both Empire and Kislev quite a bit. Hard to tell which one he actually is, but he's the Empire. We have Karl Franz up in the sky with a lot of his buffs. Blood Penguins have been playing a ton of him recently. Regrowth and Earthblood Caster on the ground, a front line of swordsmen and spearmen. Demigryph Knights and Demigryph Knights with halberds. Interesting that he opted for one of each rather than just like picking one as his favorite and going with 2 of those. So, okay. We have the Silver Bullets as the only ranged unit from the Empire here, then some Spearmen and 3 Empire Knights. Pretty cav heavy. On the other side, for Kislev, we have a front line of 5 Streltsy, some things in the woods in the back, including the Mordheim Beowulfs, Winged Lancers across the back lines of 4 of them, and then it looks like 3 Kosovo Dervishes, 2 of which are in the Vanguard. Mamos, thank you, with Flock of Doom as running the spell. Empire Knights will crush the Kosovo Dervishes. Even if they get sandwiched in, they should still win that fight just due to their armor. 110 armor is a lot for someone with only 28 weapon strength, and 7 of it is armor piercing. So the Empire Knights will be just fine, but, I mean, being sandwiched in is never good. As Mamos Tanky decides to help him out a little bit, says, yeah, fuck those dervishes, and shoots him right in the back, but then she charges in. But Demigryph Knights with halberds are here. She's going to want to be careful. Green one did not bring any healing whatsoever, so all damage will stick. She does not have Goulias, he does not have a Patriarch. Front line is getting charged by Winged Lancers, and the Empire Cav is not quite in position to punish that. Silver Bullets are trying to fire, and it looks like they got a half volley, judging by the damage done, but not a ton. One Empire Knight is pushed away, but both of these Kosovite Dervishes have taken extreme damage, and Mama O even supported that fight, as the Demigryph Knights will rip through those guys. They're already getting a regrowth, try and keep them nice and topped off before they lose any models. And the Streltsy being the only real frontline for Kislev, they're decent melee combatants, but not amazing, which means the Empire State Troops will trade up value-wise. Things in the Woods charging Empire Knights. I actually don't know who wins that. I haven't had a ton of data on Empire versus Kislev in melee like this. Things in the Woods do not appear to be having a good time at the start, but Streltsy are changing the momentum of that fight, firing down into the Empire Knights. And Franz thinking about getting involved somewhere, though he doesn't know where just yet. Other Demigryph Knights continuing to fight it out. These are not the Halberds. They have better melee stats in general with that nice armor piercing. So they don't pay for the anti-range. Silver Bullets wreck the Streltsy on the charge, but a Cossack Dervish that was held in reserve for quite a long time now joins the fray, and some Empire Knights who are almost routing, and the Demigryph Knights try and come back, and they're going to kill these guys as quickly as they can. They know the Buyer Blood passive is going to pop, so these guys are going to be unbreakable. You just have to deal raw damage to them to save those Silver Bullets. One Empire Knight's already leaving, and Grace is home. Karl Franz diving in under these things in the woods. Demigryph Knights with halberds, killing off these Winged Lancers, whose Buyer Blood passive is the only thing keeping them from shattering, as they will die in totality. Silver Bullets holding on better than I would have thought. I guess the Cossack Dervish stats just aren't enough to get through them. With Regiment of Renown stats, they do have 23 melee defense, which is pretty good. There's a whole bunch of spearmen and stuff distracting. For now, the Bounce of Power is dead even. Streltsy continuing to fire down from this hill and punish the Imperials on the low ground, including Franz poking him down. Hello. What's that? What? No. Okay, no. I just checked. I just checked the mail. I sent you a text that said 12:50. I checked the mail. It's not 12:50. But no, this can't be real. Hold on. No one cares about the nation's event. No one cares about that. Hold on. Holy shit. I've been waiting for this for 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. Hold on. We got Mario Superstar Baseball. Let's go. I'm calling out of work for the rest of the day. This is all I'm doing. Playing Mario Baseball all day. All day. My childhood is reborn. Bye, Grace. Bye. All right. Let's go. I'm so hyped you can't even imagine how fucking hyped that is. Mario Superstar Baseball is the best Mario game that exists, and I realized my brother and I sold it to GameStop for $1.50, and I was like, we were fucking stupid children, so I had to go buy it online yet again. All right, what are we doing? What's happening? Warhammer stuff. You got it. Streltsy still firing in on the low ground, really punishing these Demigryph Knights with halberds. They are unshielded. Are both Demigryph Knights unshielded? Nah, at least these ones have bronze shields, but the halberds really don't like being shot by Streltsy. Silver Bullets still trying to fall back, still have a good amount of models. Over 2/3 of their damage is left, if the things in the woods can be stopped, which looks like they will, but man, these Streltsy are safe and sound, just firing down. Ragged Empire Knights trying to fight them. Streltsy do have armor piercing even in melee, so the Empire Knights will get pushed away. And the Kislev front line is coming out on top versus the Imperials. Franz and his Cav have done a good job peeling the back line in general, but it's really their front line that's lacking. The Streltsy, even a front line of just 5 Streltsy, supported by Mother Ostankia and then all of the cavalry of Kislev, they are coming out on top. All 5 Streltsy are actually looking pretty decent. This one is almost 2/3 damage capacity, and then the other ones are all completely fine. So that is a real bad sign for the Empire coming into this late game. Demigryph Knights trying to get up here and shut these guys down, but it is becoming a bit of that like old Anticity style of Vampire Coast, where now you just have 5 Streltsy spaced out, and anything you try and disrupt, the other 4 will turn and shoot at it. Like these poor Demigryph Knights with halberds who are pushed away. And they've lost half their models exactly, so we'll see if they can get a regrowth before they suffer too much more. More Empire Knights plus Franz are trying to shut down the Streltsy. Kislev is pulling ahead on the balance of power, even without healing. Some Cossack Dervishes have rallied, and they are going to get a charge on Silver Bullets before those guys can defend themselves, so that is a big DPS potential for the Empire. Shut down and put out of commission. The other Demigryph Knights trying to heal up a little bit with an Earthblood, but man, these Streltsy are just firing in. We have a full health Karl Franz and a nearly full health Jade Wizard pushing up that balance of power, even though they're really bad about what's left on the field. Like, Franz does not like fighting Streltsy. He doesn't clear them out very quickly. He's going to get shot on all sides, so he's not suited to this task. He could duel Mother Ostankia, but she's probably just going to drive away while Streltsy shoot him in the back, so I think the balance of power in reality is even worse for the Empire than it shows. And that was a creative build from Kislev. I liked it a lot. Just knowing that most of the Imperial State troops are probably going to be quite bad, so you might as well have hybrid Streltsy. Just deal with the Spearmen when they show up, and then going mass Cav. It's interesting. I think Green One, I mean, I know Green One's ODM, but I wonder if Green One was maybe predicting a bit of Empire Kite with like 2 Outriders and 2 Outriders grenade launchers. Because I know ODM's really good at that kite style. So maybe he was also preparing for that by just going mass Cav and ranged, and he's like, alright, try and kite me. So, yeah. Which Mario Baseball? The GameCube one, Mario Superstar Baseball. The best one. Why did the horsemen screech like witch elves? Okay. Karl Franz did decent. He didn't get a ton of value because there wasn't a ton for him to sit and duel and fight. Downbeat for Knights did okay. Strangely, these ones didn't get a lot of value. I thought they picked really good fights, but I guess they just didn't get the damage out they needed. Triple Empire Knights did fine. Silver Bullets honestly did okay as well. It was really the state troops that struggled. Like we said, they had nothing to do. They'll lose to Streltsy in melee. And then they, of course, got run the fuck down by Cav and things in the woods, so it was pretty brutal. Well played by Green One. I liked his build a lot. It was clearly thought out. Like I was saying at the end of that game there, this looks like it was built for kite. Like, if the opponent's going to try and kite you, you have plenty of mobility to run them down, but also your entire front line, which they would try and do the damage to, will just fire back at them. So this looks really, really well executed. It clearly can handle rush and kite from the Empire, so I don't know what the Empire could do that could actually beat it. Maybe the ROR Hellstorm Rocket Battery. Yeah, maybe the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, ROR, Balthazar Gelt in the sky, so you don't have to do a Jade Wizard and Franz, save yourself a ton of money. And then with Gelt, just do like Final Trans in case of a blob, Searing Doom in case there is no blob. Then between his Searing Doom and Hellstorm Rocket Battery, you could kill the Streltsy. And then with all that extra money you saved on your hero core, you could go mass Cav and just try and meet them one for one on the field like that with Empire Knights and Knights of the Blazing Sun, but I don't know. I'd have to play it a bunch. I haven't played Empire a ton since the War Wagon meta came in. And the War Wagon meta is kind of on its way out right now, just due to the last patch changed enough about how chariots work that War Wagons are no longer invincible. And now they went from being OP to being like, good. They're good, but they aren't good versus Kislev because of all the hybrid units. They've always been weak to ranged, so Kislev's pretty easily just going to shoot them. So yeah, maybe I'll get back into Empire. It's just the War Wagon meta was pretty boring for me, so I avoided them. But I used to like them. They were in my top 3 factions towards the end of Game 2. Just fun-wise, not strength-wise. Okay. Boop. That is 1-0 to Spain. Good start from the Green One. And our next game will be Tudela versus Goldenfloof. Tudela versus Goldenfloof. Ah, shit. It's Grand Cathay. And that is a Bretonia build. Oh my god. That's insane. So I've been shitting on Trebs a lot recently. I don't believe in Trebs. I think they're pretty bad. Versus Cathay, they can be okay because Cathay stands really close together and relies on armor, which armor-piercing artillery can mitigate. So good for them. Why am I being pinged right now? Oh, okay. I see. Anyway, triple gold chevrons will make them more accurate, but I wonder if they get out-dueled by the Cathay artillery. I think the main problem for Cathay is going to be triple Grail Knight and a Hippogriff Knight with the Fey Enchantress for some healing. I am shocked you can even afford that many, but it looks like they can with a front line of legitimately just 5 peasant mobs. Just a 500 gold, end of story front line. 1 Jade Warrior is worth the entire front line of Bretonia here. And I think Goldenfloof has to realize that and immediately break formation and walk forward. He needs to walk forward. Because, I mean, like, maybe he's betting it. I'm sure he's surprised. I'm sure he wasn't expecting this to be the outcome. So he's probably assessing how well his artillery does versus his opponent and kind of taking that data in and wondering whether or not he has to advance. But as a caster, not in the heat of the moment, I think you probably should advance. Because with 5 peasant mobs, you can easily just walk up and... Oh, wait. He doesn't have archers. Ooh, that makes this even more complicated. Because if you had archers, you could just walk up and shoot the trebs with your archers without any threat on you. And then from there, your cannons and stuff could focus on the Grail Knights like they actually want to. Oh, this is brutal. Because he's super ready for the Grail Knights and Hippogriff Knights. That builds for this, but those 3 triple gold chevron trebs are really fucking with what Cathay wants to do here. So without basic archers, they have no mid-range threat versus the trebs. So the only threat they actually have is the cannons out-dueling them or the crowmen diving them. It looks like the crowmen are moving up, and of course the cannons are trying to out-duel them. But other than that, he's got nothing to get back there and hit them. Peasant horsemen will get intercepted on the way by the Grail Knights. And his front line would get cycle charged super hard if he walked up here, like, just in melee. Croman think about getting involved. One is running away from the Hippogriff Knights. And normally, this would be dissuaded by cannons poking down your Hippogriff Knights if they chase your Croman, but the cannons are very, very much busy with these Trebs that they have to shut down. The Trebs already stopped their fire and rocket temporarily. The fire and rocket is back online for now, but the cannons can't accept free damage. They can't really do a give and take, they just have to win. Also, Tudela put his Trebs on a hill, which can really stop some of the cannon damage coming in. They can still get over it a little bit. You see a lot of the shots are going wide, but some will still get in there. Fire and Rocket back online once again, trying to rejoin the fight, and Onyx Croman were peeled off. They were not quite able to stop those Trebs. Another cannon routes. Fire and Rocket's trying to support, but I imagine Tudela will stop that once again here. He's making a good use of his terrain. This Treb is down to one model, though, so even with the hill protecting them, funnily enough, it is the lowest down model that is still alive, so that makes sense. It just shows that the terrain and the arc of fire is helping him out quite a bit. Fire and Rocket is not doing well at all in this duel. And the Treb is back, but its last model is broken as the cannon, for some reason, still fires at the model, even though the crew is routing. So that Treb is offline. It's useless now. It's just a super wounded crew that no one cares about. This lady's coming. Oh, she had an Ancestral Warrior summon. That would have been amazing. I didn't really register what Cathay had for a Lord. Because, yeah, if you throw an Ancestral Warrior summon down, you can just kill off a Treb or even two, and the only thing that can stop you is Cavalry, which doesn't want to walk into an Ethereal Armor-Piercing Halberd unit. I guess I didn't really cover the builds too much. I got too excited about the triple Trebs. We do have two cannons, one Fire and Rocket, 4 Iron Hail Gunners, and then a bunch of Jade Warriors and Peasant Long Spears. So, and 2 Groven, a couple Peasant Horsemen too. Yeah, I didn't cover the Cathay build at all because it was like, holy shit, 3 triple gold chevron field Trebs. That's insane. All right, Hippogriff Knights trying to get involved now. Now we'll see what the Cathay build can actually do as Iron Hail Gunners are turning to fire at these guys. And they should get pretty insane damage down. Without Flesh to Stone from the Fey Enchantress, these guys are very, very susceptible to Iron Hail Gunner fire. And there's a regrowth trying to heal them back up. Peasant mobs have gotten through and are trying to disrupt those Iron Hail Gunners. Grail Knights pushing through Peasant Horsemen to also stop those guys. And the other Iron Hails are too far away to really lend support right now. These ones are getting run down by Grail Knights. They need to turn and just shoot because they're not going to outrun the Grail Knights. It's not like a Peasant Horseman rear charge is really going to matter that much. Cathay getting separated out is just the worst possible thing for them. Now their formation's all broken, the game plan is all broken, they're just not really ready to respond to this. Now Cathay is still up on balance of power a little bit, and I think it's mostly just shutting down those very expensive field Trebs. A Peasant Horseman did get into the backline and will shut those guys down for real. And this other Treb is running away from the Ancestral Warriors and actually making some distance, which I find hilarious. And another Ancestral Warrior summon is out. I've really soured on this spell in general as a defensive spell because of this. Grail Knights are just going to walk away. Grail Knights are walking away over there, walking away over there. Now the Ancestral Warriors will limp after them for their entire life cycle and won't really get their damage out. I would like them offensively, like putting them on top of the Trebs like Golden Floof did at the start. That's pretty good. Cathay is still ahead on the balance of power, though, so for all the PC version would be praise I've been heaping upon Bretonnia here, they are a little bit down. All their field Trebs are offline, their entire front line is offline, and they are relying on a half-health Grail Knight, a half-health Grail Knight, a 1/3 health Royal Hippogriff Knight, and a 1/3 health Grail Knight to carry this whole game. As the Fey Enchantress is under attack by the Dragon-Blooded Shugi Lord of Yin, Peasant Long Spears and Iron Hail Gunners trying to push off these Grail Knights, and they are doing a good job of it. The Fey Enchantress is in real trouble. Storm of Shadows is going to slow her down even further. And the Shugi Lord is just kicking her ass. And the Fae, the last thing the Fae wants to do is spend any healing spells on herself. She really wants to just heal up Hippogriff Knights and Grail Knights. So she doesn't want Earthblood, she doesn't want Regrowth, she doesn't want any of that on herself. The Shugi Lord is maybe trying to peace out now. Looks like she's actually going to stay the course. So these Peasant Long Spears are going to have to come in and do some serious work on the Royal Hippogriff Knights to make this trade worth it. Now the Shugi Lord is starting to get away, and Hippogriff Knights are left in the spears, so that is good. Grail Knights on the backfield taking out a Grand Cannon that has shattered. We still have one cannon crew online. It looks like they're trying to get back on their mounts now, and that could be good. to really pressure Bretonia when they're trying to cycle charge and stuff and just make them take free damage for every second they're not stopping those cannons. And Iron Hails forming up around the cannon would be good too. So I don't know where the cannon actually is. Where's your mount? Your mount's over there, but they might all be dead. That might be a bug. I don't know. If the cannon was still alive, you want to keep the Iron Hails near it, but not on top of it, so that if the Grail Knights and Hippogriff Knights dive the cannon, then you at least get free Iron Hail shots onto them. Shugi Lord is now surrounded by Grail Knights, and Hippogriff Knights are even thinking about diving in on her. She has no Ancestral Warrior summon left, so she can't save herself that way. And these Halberds are trying to get involved, but she is completely isolated, and the other guys are taking some damage for this separation, but yeah, without any infantry models around her at all, she's taking a ton of damage from these Grail Knights and Hippogriff Knights and whatever. Fey Enchantress is in, all these spears poking away, doing their damnedest to get any damage out, and a Storm of Shadows is on the Hippogriff Knights just because, I mean, she's probably going to rout, might as well get what damage you can into this game. The cannons are back online now, they have 4 out of 4 models. Can they fire at all as the Shugi Lord is terror routing and naturally routing, so she's trying to get out of here. Another regrowth is coming in for something. It looks like a Grail Knight at this point. And Bretonia pulls ahead on the balance of power. 1/4 health Grail Knight, 1/3 health heal capped Royal Hippogriff Knight. Another regrowth onto some Grail Knights. Another 1/3, 1/4-ish health Grail Knight over there. Shugi Lord has died, and that does spike down Cathay's leadership, which is impressive, but not indomitable, like Dwarf Warriors or High Elves or something. So a lot of them are going to start routing off. One cannon is trying to keep this game alive. It says it has 4 out of 4 models, but I think it actually only has 1. I think that's just a visual bug on how many models are left. So its DPS is pretty low. Iron Hail Gunners trying to do their best and stay in this game, but I imagine their DPS also will be negligible in the face of such an onslaught. Get a good chunk out of the Royal Hippogriff Knights, but now they will be shattered off the field. Brutally. And that is looking like it. The Knights have plenty of health to carry this. The Fey Enchantress is still offering healing, and way too much of Cathay is routing at once. So I'll catch up with chat in the back. Merry Crimbo. Hey, Slime. Merry Crimbo. I like blunderbuss units as a concept. Pitiful range, they're absolutely delete anything if they get fire freely. Yeah, I think Iron Hails are maybe a little too strong. Maybe. But I wouldn't nerf them just yet. I think Cathay has other stuff that makes them OP, and it's not Iron Hail Gunners. Iron Hail Gunners are decent, because it's 500 gold. It's not a big investment if you lose them. But if you get them in the right situation, they could do a ton of DPS. So, I don't know. I like Iron Hail Gunners as they are. I hope they stick around in the meta. Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses are also pretty good. Because there's counterplay, but if you set them up correctly, they can get a ton of value, which is, I think that's a fun design choice. What I don't think is a fun design choice is regrowth, but I think that's a different conversation for a different day. Grail Knights did fine on value, so did the Hippogriff Knights. Fey Enchantress did okay. The Triple Gold Chevron Trebs put a lot of pressure on Cathay, forced them out of their box, forced them to spread out, which then the Knights could pick them apart. So I think the Bretonian build worked really well together. I like the Cathay build overall. Yeah, I would have to have a long, hard look at what to do about this Cathay build versus Brett. I think I wouldn't change the build just yet. I'm not sure about the firing rocket, and I mean that. I'm not sure. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I really don't use it when I play Cathay. One thing they should have done is, in a perfect world, Golden Floof would have advanced right away and put the Ancestral Warrior Summon right on top of one of the Trebs like we talked about. Maybe that would have been better. Maybe the cannons focusing on the Treb that wasn't behind the hill would be better, but I mean, hindsight's 2020. Overall, I think it was just a good plan and a good execution by Chidella. So that is 2-0 up for Spain. If they win one more game, they take the title of best nation in the entire world out of the 8 that were invited by Human Boy of 2023 winter 1 month. A prestigious title. Can East in a rally bring it all back? Or at least put up a good showing? Who's next? Azrael and Rocket. I have a ping. Is it about this? No. Okay. I was just making sure someone wasn't like, no, you have the wrong replay or something. Okay, there we are. Ezreal and Rocket. We are on match point. If you're hoping for East NA to win this, you need to put all your faith in Rocket. Or if you're hoping for Spain to close us out 3-0 and then the last two games are just for flavor, then you're rooting for the Dark Elves of Ezreal of Astora. We do have Malice Darkblade on the Dark Elves. So let's see what we got. Let's see. For the Dark Elves, we have Malice Darkblade, a Spirit Leech and Fate Abuna caster, Cold One Knights paired with Cold One Dread Knights, so 2 of each, 4 Dark Riders, 2 of which have repeater crossbows, and then 5 Dread Spears, 1 of which is the Halabroni. Pretty straightforward build. Heavy Cav, Skirmish Cav, Light Cav, Frontline of Spears. On the other side, for Rocket, we have 4 Skink Skirmishers for a bit of skirmish presence, 4 Skink Cohorts with Javelins to counterfire, 1 Stegodon, 2 Stegodons with the bows, the Slann Mage Priest of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood, then a lot of Cold Ones, including 2 Cold One Spear Riders and 4 Feral Cold Ones. Some more melee Skink cohorts on the sides. So it's Skinks, Cold Ones, and Stegs. That is it. Alright, Dark Elf's going to move up. Their front line is better than the Lizardmen front line. I mean, the Lizardmen have 2 dedicated melee units, and they're both 300 gold chaff pieces, so the Dread Spears want to get in melee combat as soon as possible and get out of this skirmish fire and really force the Lizardmen on a timer. The Bow Stags, I don't know what they're aiming at. Looks like they're just impaling Cold One Dread Knights, and they've already taken out 7 models, which is not... it's not bad. It's not anything to sniff at. And then in the late game, there'll still be a large armor-piercing terror piece that can rampage through the area. So, I don't hate it. Cold One Spear Riders get a side charge onto Dark Riders. The Dark Elves are a little sad about that, but their Cold One Dread Knights getting a counter charge should be just fine. They'll sacrifice the Dark Riders for that. It looks like these other Cold One Knights and Halabroni are trying to pick a fight on the flanks with feral Cold Ones who can rampage. And if they rampage, they'll be stuck in a bad situation as the repeater crossbows try and force that rampage upon them. Malice has not yet found a home, and a Fate of Buna is going to hit the Cold One Spear Riders if there's a regrowth that can counter it before it takes out any models, but it doesn't look like the Salon's moving over there, so he doesn't seem to care as much. The Lizardmen are winning this bottom flank pretty heavily, already pushing off 1 Dread Spear and chasing the other away, but the top flank is going to the Dark Elves, though they are taking a lot of damage in this top flank. 1 Cold One Dread Knight's already at half HP, a Dark Rider is routing, so it's not exactly one-sided. As the Bow Stags are just exacting a slow and terrible cost on the Dark Elves, forcing them to move up quicker and quicker. That is the ideal position of artillery, though artillery in Game 3 is generally not considered very good right now, outside of Cathay, because they just don't do enough damage on ultra unit size, and their accuracy is usually pretty bad for some reason. So that's why you don't see a ton of artillery, but artillery's place in the meta is not as like a... it's not a DPS carry unit, it's supposed to be a timer you put on your opponent and pressure them, but right now the timer is just too long between effectiveness. So the Bow Stags are falling back from the Cold Ones, trying to get away and do some more damage. Aslan is chucking out a free little banishment in here, and it looks like Azrael is noticed, and he's starting to pull away with a lot of his cav, and the banishment starts to trail upwards. Still catches a few models, but it's not going with the units. Overall, they'll be just fine. Balance power is about even. I'm really liking the Dark Elves' position here. After a rough early trade, where they lost 1 flank and the other flank wasn't free, they're doing a bit better. Their cav is really healthy, which is promising. Malice is really healthy, which is super promising. That's really all they need. Most of the damage they've taken is on Dark Riders and Dread Spears, which they're fine with. On the other side, I mean, the Bow Stags have used a lot of their ammunition. Skinks are taking a ton of damage across the board, and Cold Ones and Feral Cold Ones aren't feeling the best. 1 Cold One Spear Rider was almost pushed off the map entirely by a Fate of Buna. Looks like a regrowth is trying to keep these Cold One Spear Riders in the fight. They might need a Cold-Blooded for some leadership, but we'll see as they try and scrap their way out with these Cold One Knights and 2 different Cold One Knights, and then the Halabroni poking them down. Even the overcasted regrowth is not going to be enough to save them, I don't think. Their leadership's just dipping too much. The Bow Stags and Skirmishers still all firing away, doing just fine. The Slann is very safe. We'll see if their DPS matters enough. Balance power is dead even, and that's with a regular human Malice and not crazy demon Malice. You said human, he's an elf. You got the point. But he's an elf, it's different. You got the point. There, the Cold One Spear Riders are falling back, and if Fate of Buna on the way out is just a middle finger to an almost heel-capped Cold One Spear Rider, they are going to die from that. Sucks to be them. Bounce power is still dead even, as your repeater crossbows are inflicting a terrible toll on the Lizardmen. A mass rout is coming in from the Scaly Boys. But let's really assess, because that bounce power is coming from somewhere. The Dark Elves must be hurting. One Cold One Dread Knight is almost dead. That's a full health Dark Rider. 2 full health Dark Rider repeater crossbows. Full health Malice. Almost full health Hellobroni. And of course a caster. But that is about it. So apparently their Cav have taken 10 damage. Nope, that's another full health Cold One Dread Knight. Never mind. Dark Elves are doing fine. I thought maybe if they were all out of Dread Knights or something, then I should be more positive on them, but I would definitely say the Dark Elves are favored right now. One of the Stegodons is getting involved, charging into those Dark Riders to get a little bit of damage out. Where's the other Steg? Oh, there he is. He's back here. I was hovering over him for a bit. Didn't even notice. Steg is fighting some Cold One Knights. They're trying to retreat away from the Skink Skirmishers and the Stag. They're not enjoying this whatsoever, but the Dark Elves have pulled a little bit ahead on the balance of power. And this bow stag trying to fire through all these trees, I supremely doubt his shot is actually going to make it through all the trees. Just waiting for him to fire. Yeah, it didn't make it through all the trees. So he's having troubles. One is about to duel Malice, and they are decent duelists. They have good charge bonus of 70. And Stegodons have a known issue where they can get their charge bonus back while in standing melee combat with someone. It's kind of off and on, which makes them better duelists than you would expect. Doesn't make them, like, amazing, right? They're not fucking Nakari level, but, you know, they can do better than you'd think. Looks like Malice doesn't want to tempt fate. He's not even going to bother dueling that Steg. He's just falling back, using Dark Rider Repeater crossbows to try and get rid of the Feral Cold One support for that Stegodon. Push him away. Hellobroni getting through the woods, and really the balance power for the Lizardmen is locked up in 3 very healthy single entities, the Slan and 2 Bow Stags. Oof. But the leadership on this guy's already dipping. He's getting a regrowth to try and keep him up and about, but he is surrounded by spears and heavy cav and Malice Darkblade and getting shot by armor-piercing arrows. So this is looking like the end of that Stegodon. Is a nice dodge from the banishment over here from Azrael. Azrael is playing really good. I've liked this Dark Elf game a lot. Rocket's also playing pretty solid on the Lizardmen. I haven't noticed a lot of mistakes from either party. It just looks like the Dark Elf build is proving a little bit stronger here. As the Cav... The Cav is always risky. If you take a bunch of Cav, it's entirely on your micro to make them work, whereas like infantry are more of a guaranteed value. So I guess that's why I've been talking more about the Dark Elves, because they have more room to fuck this up. Rocket's been playing pretty good. I haven't noticed a lot of his Skink Skirmishers just sitting and dying or anything. They usually are falling back. A lot of his 360 Skinks have gotten all their ammo out. His Bow Stags have gotten all their ammo out. But I think the Bow Stags let him down more than he played poorly. 800 value for that one. 500 for the other one, yeah. So I think Rocket was playing really, really good. But Bow Stags, we just don't see a lot of them for a reason, it seems. This is looking about doomed because that balance of power is that way when you have a full health Slan. So that's that much less actual carry potential you have. Malice could maybe kill this whole army by himself, but with 2 alive repeater crossbows while the Dark Elves have mobility advantage so nothing can chase them down. They can use all of that ammo on the Bow Stags, secure that for Malice, and then Malice can 1v1 the Slan to death. I don't see how the Lizardmen come back. It's not a damaged Slan either, so it's not like time is on his side. He has 1 Blood Statue of Spite left, no banishments. He has some healing, but the targets he has to heal are subpar. We have a Stegodon over here, Stegodon way over here, and some Skinks, but that's about it. It's not like he has Ripperdactyls or Crocscores or something to really carry him. Bow Stag's trying to shoot these Cold One Dread Knights on their way in. But now he's going to get a charge. Should be a nasty charge, honestly. Boom! 300 HP off those guys. Stegodons are great at that. They're great at that. Their bow attack just needs some love, but there we go. Peter Crossbow Skirmish Cav making him pay. He's going to rout again. Maybe even Shatter? Maybe? Mouse with the rear attack might get him going. Once his charging leadership debuff wears off, then he'll break. But for now, he thinks he's charging those repeater crossbows, so he's not going to break. Charging wears off, and he breaks. Cold One Dread Knight's still trying to support Malice. And Malice has a whole second life to go through. Bow Stags were for Scourge Runners. I see Rocket in the chat. So yeah, without any Scourge Runners, then you just have nothing. Mouse is getting invincible. There's not a lot left I could deal with him. I think if... Now, I don't think the Lizardmen could have done this, but, like, if Malice just YOLO'd himself into 2 boast eggs and they fought him, like, side by side, they could beat him, because they're decent duelists, and Malice can get in over his head sometimes. But 1v1, he'll win, and especially with his own support, he'll win. I'm going to fast forward for a little bit, as I think we are just ticking the time down at this point. Stegodon trying to fight Malice, but he's getting picked off, and the Sorceress is even 1v1ing the Slann. Skirmish Cav still providing good damage. And that is GG. Who would take Scourge Runners? I think in the last Nations event, someone, was it Ruben? By last Nations event, I meant like last week's games. Didn't Ruben take it? And he making him look really good? Yeah, it was actually versus Rocket. Rocket played this matchup versus the Dark Elves, and 3 Scourge Runners really pissed him off. Yeah. Alright. Both stakes did okay. Coldwind Spear Riders really let Rocket down. I fucking hate Coldwind Spear Riders. I think they're trash. I think you, like, sometimes need them because you need anti-large armor piercing, but for some reason they just really underperform. For Azrael, his single entities did great, especially the Deathcaster. His repeater crossbows both got a ton of value for only being like a 650 gold unit. He protected them really well and got him a ton of value. And then his Coldwind Knights and Coldwind Red Knights did okay on value. Not great, but they were mostly blocking for the stuff that was actually carrying. So, GG. And for those of you who are astute, why am I being messaged? You have the wrong replay? What do you mean I have the wrong replay? What do you mean I have the wrong replay? Sorry, I got a message saying I have the wrong replay, and I don't want to... Okay, then I don't know what he was talking about. Cyrus, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, moving on. So that is a 3-0 start to Spain. We will cast the last 2 games. Rainy Frog and AC Maiden deserve their time in the spotlight as much as anybody else. But and I'll do a more formal congratulations to Spain in a second, but I don't want to do it and then not cast the other games. That just seems wrong. So, we know Spain has won. By how much? Is it a 3-2, 4-1, or a 5-0? Let's find out. Alright, Rainy Frog JMG. Alright, let's go. Rainy Frog on my beloved Skaven. The emoji, I thought I made it clear it was a joke. No. No! You know I'm paranoid. You've been watching this channel for 65 years. You know I'm paranoid. Anyway, Rainy Frog playing on the Skaven. My favorite faction, though I will admit, I've been losing a lot on Skaven. I played a tournament best of 5 with Father Ramram the other day, another Skaven main. And our series start was really funny. It was, I picked Skaven, he picked Vampire Counts, Skaven lost to Vampire Counts. Alright, I'm down 0-1. He picked Skaven, I picked Greenskins. Skaven get bodied by Greenskins. Alright, 1-1. We both took our free Skaven loss. Now let's play the series. That's just where Skaven are at right now for me, man. Some people still hate them, some people say they're strong, and that's fine. There's a nuanced argument to be had. But for me, it's just like, I'll play Skaven because I love him, but it's a free loss every time. How dare you, Cyrus? Okay. In this matchup, Rainy Frog for the side of East NA. We do have 4 Rat Ogres, 2 Warp Lightning Cannons, Natty Boobo Sharpshooters, the Teeth Breakers Rattling Guns, and an Avalanche Mortar with a front line of Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats, and Ikit Claw on foot with Flenzy Ruin and Howling Warp Gale. In the back here for JMG, we do have 4 Hobgoblin Wolf Riders with their bows, skirmishing and really punishing those Warp Lightning Cannons. And then for the Skaven, Skirmish Cav are pretty effective, because they can do this. Your only mobile elements are Dogs and Rat Ogres, and those are all weak to Skirmish Cav, but the Skaven will try and counter you with ranged pressure, right? We also have more Hobgoblin Wolf Riders regular, 2 Death Shrieker rocket launchers, a Bull Centaur Render with great weapons, a Sorcerer Prophet of Death with Spirit Leech and Doom and Darkness, and then the Hobgoblin frontline. So very, very few infantry here from the side of the Chaos Dwarves. Wolf Riders starting to slip into this scattered formation, going to rout off Ikit Zap Zap as those guys were dueling with the Death Shriekers in the trees. And they will now move on to the Teeth Breakers, who are firing at them in a valiant attempt to stay alive. Natty Booba Sharpshooters are also disrupted. And the further the Skaven get pulled out of their formation, the more these Cav can kind of squeak into the sides and disrupt things. We saw a bit of this in the Cathay game earlier. Skaven are advancing. Their Skaven Slave and Kleinrat frontline will unironically just destroy the Goblin Laborers, but... And I don't think their frontline could do much with the mobile pressure. They just walk slowly after Hobgoblin Wolf Riders. But I do think the Skaven are trying to move up to get to those Death Shrieker rocket launchers and shut them down. Meanwhile, the Avalanche Mortars probably just have to turn and fire at Cavalry. And Hobgoblin Wolf Riders rolling in on these Warp Lightning Cannons. A lot of the Skaven shooting has been shut down. Now, some Wolf Riders will have to give their lives for the causes. They've clawed 1 million Rat Ogres, kill them off. But so much stuff has been lost for the Skaven here. Teeth Breakers, Natty Web Sharpshooters, Ikit Zap Zap, and another Warp Lightning Cannon are all dead and gone. And now the Avalanche Mortars are also under pressure. And for the Chaos Dwarves, they've just lost some Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, though they're about to friendly fire their own Hobgoblin Wolf Riders right about now. Okay, it wasn't the scatter shot. If it was the scatter shot, they would legitimately, like, half-health that fucking unit. Bounce power very in the favor of the Chaos Dwarves. Skaven with no ranged pressure left whatsoever, down to just Rat Ogres and Ikit to try and carry this game. Clan Rats slapping through Hobgoblins. Oh, actually, these aren't even Hobgoblins. Goblin Laborers is, it's satisfying to say the least. But the Death Shriekers have emerged from the trees and are firing in. Bull Centaur Renders ready to just kill any Rat Ogres that come near to the Death Shrieker rocket launchers at all. But I imagine that's what they'll do. These Bull Centaur Renders are probably just going to charge through Skaven light infantry to try and defend the Death Shriekers. And the Death Shriekers probably plus Spirit Leech are putting Ikit Claw on a timer of life. Because as a foot character, he's not nearly fast enough to dodge. Even if he had all the micro in the world, I don't think he can dodge the Death Shriekers homing. Sorcerer Prophet of Death should probably throw Spirit Leeches on him too. Because that is the easiest way to end this game, is just to kill Ikit. And then the balance of power either goes so far that you'll just get army losses, or all these Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves will be that much easier to rout, and then you can just protect your backline through leadership bombing them. Skaven are rallying some units like these Teeth Breakers and Natty Booba Sharpshooters, though I don't think it's going to matter, as the backline dominance of the Chaos Dwarves just owns the field. Overcasted Spirit Leech hitting him from across the map, while the big scary Moose Man dives onto the Clan Rats with shields, trying to get them off of the Death Streak rocket launchers. Skaven can see the writing on the wall now that it gets routing, and they do FF. Human Boy nerfed? I've actually been playing pretty good recently. I've been playing pretty good, having a good time, putting up some good showings, even if I get beat. Just not on Skaven. I'm losing a lot on Skaven. There's a couple matchups where Skaven are still really good. The main problem, and people bring this up with me all the time. I'm going to hover over the values if you care while I say this. People bring this up with me all the time where they're like, oh, dude, Skaven can't be bad because they're still good into, like, Dwarves. Or, like, Skaven can't be bad because they're good into, like, Nurgle or something. Well, even that one's actually a debated matchup, but that's not my point. Skaven have a couple good matchups, but what makes them not top of the meta is they're a counterpick faction. Most counterpick factions are on the bottom of the meta because if they're weak to over half the roster in the game, it's rare that you get to play them. So I think I need to adjust my pick and ban to just not put Skaven on the forefront and leave them as a counterpick, because then they'll be fine. But legitimately, like, I would say about half the joy I get in this game is playing Skaven. So not first picking them and just hoping my opponent picks a faction that Skaven are good into, just, like, it takes so much of the fun away from me where I'm like, I just want to play my fucking rats. Can I just play my rats, please? So I don't know. It's definitely, like, if I want to win more games, I need to not pick Skaven first. But fuck you. You can't tell me what to do. I'm a real human being with decisions. Spain's up 4-0. We're on to the final game of the day. Uran versus AC Maiden. AC Maiden has only played Khorne and Slaanesh in this nation's event, and he is not stopping now, not for nobody. With no pressure besides pride, pick Slaanesh into Vampire Coast. Actually a decent matchup for Slaanesh. Another faction that's actually on the lower end of the tier list. Not a lot of great matchups left for Slaanesh in the world. But this is one of them that's decent. Coops especially plays a ton of Slaanesh versus Vampire Coast. And I have a sneaky build with Araness Assault Spite and Van Geist's Revenge to deal with Slaanesh. But looks like that's not what we're getting here. Alrighty. So, if you want the 5-0 sweep, you're rooting for the Vampire Coast. If you want East NA to get on the board, then you are hoping for Slaanesh to pull off a win. For AC Maiden, we have double Chaos Knights, a Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh, with Lash, Acquiescence, and Pavane on his Mortis Engine thing. Sigvald the Magnificent on foot, and then Chosen and Chaos Warriors as a front line, most with Hell Scourges except for one Sword and Board. On the other side, for the Vampire Coast, a triple Depth Guard front line, 2 Bombers, 2 Pistol Mobs, 4 Animated Hulks, 2 Rotting Promethean Gunnery Mobs, one of which is Lampish Revenge, and Noctilus on his peg leg with Melkoth Mystifying Miasma and Invocation of Mag. Alright, cool. I like the triple Depth Guard front line. That's bold. They have an impressive 60 melee attack with their Frenzy, plus 5 bonus versus infantry, but they can do pretty good versus the Hell Scourges. And a Melkoth Mystifying Miasma, plus a Cannon Shot from Noctilus, plus a Bomber Volley, and a Rear Charge from the Rotting Promethean's Gunnery Mob. That is a Chaos Knight of Slaanesh that is almost dead on the charge. A huge loss for them. That's, what are those, like 1,500 gold? Good God. The other Bombers are also throwing in. Now, they won't do very much versus anything in this build, honestly, but you bring him a case of Marauders, right? You don't know if you're just going to get chosen. The Chaos Knights of Slaanesh for Maiden do actually just walk past the front lines. So that's a nice little play, and they'll go and kill a Pistol Mob for free. They should kill it pretty fast. Animated Hulks will countercharge, but if they're microed well, they won't even take that much damage, and it looks like that is the case as they're going to start running away. Sigvald is chasing after Noctilus. Noctilus gets stopped accidentally by some Chaos Knights, which allows Sigvald to chase him down, but the Chaos Knights are actually just going for the bomb mobs. Sigvald gets knocked away by Noctilus' cannon shot. Noctilus gets to stagger his way to safety. The Chaos Warriors are slowly churning through that front line of Depth Guard. They are beating the Depth Guard, to be fair, overall. Right? I mean, the middle fight's going fine. The 2 side fights are going badly for the Depth Guard. But the Depth Guards have slowed them. They really stopped them in their place, allowing Noctilus to kite a bit, allowing Noctilus to chuck out Melkoths. Both Chaos Knights are not feeling so good. One's about half HP, one is nearly dead. Siggy is fine. Siggy is chilling, standing in a million animated hulks. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. The Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh is now the target of both Pistol Mobs and a Wraith Storm hitting them, but the Depth Guard are just about dead, which could allow the infantry of Slaanesh to walk through and really disrupt all of this backline. I guess I shouldn't say all of this backline because there's barely any fucking backline to talk about. There's 2 300 gold Pistol Mobs and 2 Bomber Mobs with nothing to throw at. Depth Guard getting ground down. Slaanesh is behind on the balance of power, and another Melkoth is out onto the Chosen. It looks like Noctilus is just firing away at the Chaos Knights of Slaanesh. The healthier Chaos Knight of Slaanesh is trying to get onto the backfield, but with mass everywhere they look, it's super hard for them to find a target. And like we've said, the risk versus reward is so bad for them, because it's like, what do we shut down? 2 fucking 300 gold Pistol Mobs? Who cares? What do we do? They now charge into some Rotting Promethean Gunnery Mobs, but they'll lose that trade in the long term. I think they're relying on fighting alongside these Chosen and Chaos Warriors to get some good value out or something. Slaanesh caster, Mortis engineering down what it can. And we're getting to the spooky part of the game for the Vampire Coast. Okay, sounds good. Getting to the spooky part for Slaanesh, for the Vampire Coast. When you've lost all of your infantry and your Depth Guard, then your animated Hulks are taking subpar fights against Chosen. Because with no infantry support, they'll take more damage than they want to. Sigvald will be a bit of a terror for Count Noctilus to deal with, and the enemy does have a Mortis engine. We still have 2 Pistol Mobs free and firing away, so I think as much as it sucks, these Chaos Knights do have to try and find a way to get onto these Pistol Mobs, just to keep the Sorcerer of Slaanesh safe. And then the Sorcerer of Slaanesh can Mortis engine drain down all these animated Hulks like is happening right now. But Sigvald is surrounded by those crabs, and they fire their shotguns in melee, which can actually do a good amount of damage to him. So he's taking big damage right now. He has to try and find a way out of there. The Slaanesh Knights are dedicated to killing off these little Bomber Mobs. They're getting surrounded by crabs now and animated Hulks, taking a lot of damage for them. And these last other Chaos Knights also trying to get over to the Pistol Mobs, but now they're taking free damage. For Slaanesh, these 2 animated Hulks on the bottom side are just about toast. Bomber mobs also starting to fade away into nothingness. That is really the end of the good news for Slaanesh. The pistol mobs are still poking down this shrine. You still have both of the crab mobs are very healthy, and 2 other healthy animated hulks that aren't even disintegrating yet. Noctilus and the pistols firing away. The Chaos Knights of Slaanesh taking a long way about as Noctilus... Oh, Noctilus is shooting at them. That's why they're running away. I was like, where are you going and why? More Chaos Knights are back. Pistol mobs still firing. What's your guys' value? That one's paid for itself. That one's paid for itself twice over and increasing. Little Doom Bolt, but Sigvald's heal cap is already in sight, which is a disaster for the forces of Slaanesh. Another invocation to have to keep the Lamper's Revenge really topped off. These other Rotting Promethean mobs are pushing through the Chosen of Slaanesh, who have hung on admirably, but they're just not doing enough damage to really keep this game in Slaanesh's claws. Sorcerer Prophet's healing cap is within sight. And Noctilus is mostly just on anti-cavalry duty, as it looks like. He wants to keep them out of the fight, is all he's aiming to do with his day. There's the shot. Does a little bit of poke on the Chosen. Oh, those are just Chaos Warriors. Okay, the Chaos Warriors and the Chaos Knights. Sigvald's still trying to fight it out, though the Lamper's Revenge are chilling, man. They're big chilling. 2 pistol mobs, still alive, still around, still being annoying. I think if they were, like, already dead and Slaanesh didn't have to commit any resources to them, this could maybe be winnable. Because this Chaos Sorcerer guy can drain down a lot of stuff. Like, look how low these Rotting Prometheans are getting. Those are not the regenerating ones. Sigvald can do decent work, and Noctilus is a shitty single entity combatant. But with these pistols still poking this Mortis engine down, we know his time is extremely limited. Sigvald is too low. That is probably going to be GG. The dreaded 5-0. It is the dreaded Spain 5-0. Sigvald got shut down. I can't say I'm sad about that. Sigvald has been the bane of many of my games, but the big problem for Slaanesh was how easily these 2 knights were completely stopped. Their frontline did what their frontline normally does in this matchup. I mean, they won. They won the frontline fight. They traded pretty cost-effectively. Sigvald got sniped out, which is unusual. The Chaos Knights got massacred, which is unusual. And then the Chaos Sorcerer did fine. So for AC main, his Sorcerer did what he needed, and their frontline did what they needed, but their Lord and Cavalry unfortunately failed them, which is like 5,000 gold of your 12,000 gold build. So it's almost half your army underperforming what you expected out of them, which is, I mean, that's pretty brutal. On the other side for Urian, I still don't know how to say his name, if it's Urian or Urian. 2,500 gold on Necrofex Noctilus, which is really good. Lamper's Revenge, 2,500 gold as well, which is insane. 1,300 on the other gunnery mob. The Depth Guard frontline did not pay for itself, but they held a lot longer than a zombie frontline normally would. Animated Hulks did fine. Bombers did okay. They were there for Marauders, which literally didn't exist. And the pistol mobs, 800 value and 450, both did great. So that is GG. And that is the end of our nation event. Let's go through the proper channels. That is a 5-0 finish for Spain to end it out. Thank you so much to everybody who played in this event. And good job, East NA, for even getting to the finals. That's, I mean, out of the eight teams, you got second. It's not bad at all. Shit happens. Some of those games are pretty close. We'll also put the final score up. Spain, 5-0. So for the Spanish team, who I saw some of you in the chat, the tournament prize was 1 national pride, which you have achieved, so good for you. But the other part was you do have to make a Discord profile picture for me that I will hold on to for a month. So January 18th, I will get rid of it. But yeah, as long as it's PG-13, not just like, here's a picture of a penis. But something that's PG-13, something funny, but not, you know, not gross. No open heart surgery. Not a pile of shit on a plate or something like that. Like something that I can use for a month, and when new players join my server, they don't immediately leave thinking they've signed up for something dumb. But that is the stream for today. It goes pretty quick with this nation-style event. If you enjoyed this nation-style event, that is great. We might be doing a larger one, as I did mention at the start of the stream. After Thrones of Decay, we'll either be doing a large-scale try-hard tournament in a regular fashion, or another nation event like this one, but with open qualifiers. So if how I was thinking about doing it, my mods and I need to discuss. But how we would do this in a larger scale would be you sign up, you get 4 of your friends. Like you just sign up. And if you don't have 4 friends, then whatever, we'll have a place in our Discord where you sign up. It doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, looking to join Team Germany or whatever, great. You find 5 people, you get together for Team Germany. And my mods would label you Team Germany 1, right? And let's say we have 3 German teams. We had 15 German players sign up. They made their German teams. We would have them fight each other in some way to determine who is the German rep. And let's say we have 2 Polish players and 3 Norwegian players, but they can't get enough for a full team. We would combine them, make a team of 5, and say this is team. I'd ask you to make a team name, but this is Norwegian, Norway plus Poland, that team, right? So we would pair you up with people that are geometrically close to you, so that lag is not as much of an issue and time zone scheduling is fine. If we do a bigger nation event, that's how we do this one. So if you feel like signing up, you'll get to play in some format, and there will just be if we have multiple teams from the same region, we'll have them fight each other to see which one gets into the bracket stage. But yeah, big stuff coming in 2024. Winter Faction War starting in January. Vermin League playoffs in February and March, and then in May through probably July, we'll have some form of gigantic, big hype tournament. We'll make a trailer for it and all that stuff, so it'll be good. It'll be fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this. With this and the Olympics wrapping up, that is most of my big content for 2023 out of the way. We do have a Faction Face-Off Friday. We have streams almost every day this week, but this was the last, oh my god, big months-long event we've been planning forever. Now it's all more localized, casual shit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we have another stream. Our weekly new player tournament. Goodbye.